Solo practices are a great way to improve your game, but only if you do them correctly and you know what you're doing when you're on the court. So we don't want to just jump on the court willy-nilly and just start hitting the ball around just wherever, whenever. We want to have a goal or an objective and a plan of what we want to achieve when we're on the court. So it could be working on technique, could be working on one part of the court, could be just refining a shot. So you could just be refining your drops or your drives or anything like that. So, and they also help a lot with your concentration level. So they do make you think a bit more. You have to think for yourself a little bit more, which is great, because at the end of the day, you're the only one on the court playing your opponent, and if your opponent changes their game style in the middle of a game, you kind of have to adjust, and you have to make those adjustments. So you have to think about your strategy and your tactics and how you're going to play them. So solos are kind of similar. You're thinking about the tactics of what you want to work on, how you want to approach the solo practice. So I'm going to give you a few ideas of what you can practice and how they work and how they affect your game. So this is one of my favorite ones to practice whenever I was doing solos. So you would set the ball up with either a boast, or you can set yourself up a straight ball. I would do both, and what I've got is a piece of paper up the front here. I sometimes didn't use a piece of paper, I just kind of knew that that's where I wanted the ball to land. So you can put a piece of paper there or draw some lines on the court. So that piece of paper is 2 rackets back, and you can either do, if you're doing lines, you can do a racket head out and see how many balls you can get in that zone. And if you want, you can give yourself a point system. So every time you don't get it in the box, you don't get anything. But if you get it in the box, you get 1. And if you hit the tin, -1. So you can give yourself a number. You've got to get to 10 before you move to the other side. Or you can try and get so many in 2 minutes. And every time you do a solo, you can see what you get each time. So I'll show you the exercise with both setting up the ball off the boast and straight. So that would be one of my favorite shots to practice refining my drops. So give that one a go, forehand, backhand. Give yourself a good amount of time to practice those ones. And you can do the same thing on the volley. So that's a really easy one. So you're going to do that on the volley. So you're going to be standing behind the service line and just going to hit the ball back to yourself on the full. So you can do that for a minute or so and just do that both sides. That's another really easy one. And so you can also do another one which is similar. We'll do that one. So you go up to the front of the court, and then we're going to keep the ball on the volley and then walk to the back of the court slowly and then walk to the front again. So pretty easy exercise. So you can see just starting at the front, working back and then forward again. So you can try and do this exercise. I used to do it when I was a little fella. So start at the front, work back, work forwards, keep the ball on the volley, go to the backhand side, work backwards and then forwards. And then I would do 20 figure eights afterwards. And I was really young when I used to do that. So if the ball hits the ground or you stuff it up somehow, then you start again and do it again, and you couldn't do your next solo routine until you've done that one. So give that one a go. Okay, practicing length on a solo practice, it's quite difficult because we can either set ourselves up a ball from here and then drive the ball. So we're kind of pretending that there's a loose ball here and we're trying to put our opponent under pressure by pushing them back into that corner. So we're looking at getting that ball to die in that, on that back wall, so bouncing, and then that last bounce, not letting the ball bounce, you know, say good, not more than 2 or 3 inches above the back glass there. So when you're setting that ball up, make sure it's behind the service line. And all you're looking for is to try and get the ball to land at least behind this line kind of thing, so that if your opponent is running around you, the ball's actually bouncing behind them, and you want that ball to die on the glass. So that's a good target to aim for on the back there, especially if you're hitting the ball from here and you know your opponent's coming around. But if we're going to hit the ball off the back wall, so the ball's a bit cold, so it might be a bit tricky, but if we're going to hit this ball off the back wall, we don't really want to practice repeatedly hitting the ball off the back wall like this. That last one was a little bit hard to hit. But that length is too long. We're giving our opponent too much if we're just practicing that all the time. So I see that a lot, and I think it's better to not keep the ball going. Sometimes it is good to keep the ball going, and sometimes we kind of do want to hit that overshot length, but hitting the right shot is quite, the right length is quite important in a rally sometimes. So when you're practicing those solos, practice different lengths so that in a game situation you can hit different lengths because you've practiced them. So we'll do the exercise again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself up a ball off the back wall, and then I'm going to aim for that dying length. And once I've hit that dying length, I'm going to set myself up again and aim for a dying length. Or I'm going to just make this as like a kind of like a rally situation where we're rallying down the wall, and I'm just waiting for that opportunity to try and hit that dying length. So if the ball's really tight and I've hit a really good, nice dying length shot and it's tight, then I'm going to use the height and I'm going to lift it again. So it's just like a game situation. So I'm just practicing like a game, but I'm playing against myself. And if I'm hitting really good balls all the time, that's fine. Sometimes I might just let the ball die, and if it's too tight, I might just try and get it back anyway. But if it's loose, then come forward, aim for that dying length again. So we'll give that one a go. So you can see there I had a really good shot, so I lifted the ball, and then I had to lift the ball again because it was tight. So think about the variation in the length and what you're practicing in that length, and you're not just hitting the ball repeatedly off the back wall again, off the ball repeatedly. So you can give yourself a time allocation on that side. So I would spend a good 5 minutes doing that one. It's pretty, you know, your length in a game is pretty important, so up to 5 minutes is a good time, and then you can switch sides after that. You can also put targets down. I prefer not to use targets if you're especially a little bit more advanced, because you can hit a target and the ball could die at the back wall, or it could bounce quite far off the back wall, depending on how hard you hit it. So we're really looking for where the ball's landing on the back wall as opposed to on the floor. So give that one a go. So that was the good old classic figure eights. You see people doing them all the time. So you'll see at the start, I started off the bounce, and then I worked up to the volley, and then I actually started moving up the court, getting closer. So that makes it even harder because you have to keep the ball closer in on the corner. You can't hit it as wide, so that you can move up faster, and you've got to hit it a lot harder and get it nice and flat. So that exercise isn't really a shot that you play in a game, but it's okay to practice every now and then, just to, warm the ball up or just practice your hand-eye coordination. It's definitely not a shot that you would be practicing for a game, but it's an okay exercise to practice, and it's more just a bit of fun and getting your hand-eye coordination going. So give that one a go. So another shot that you wouldn't play in a game, but it is a good hand-eye coordination, reactive control routine that you can do. So you can hit it slower so that you can get used to it, stand back a little bit more maybe, and then work your way forward and speed the ball up a little bit more to increase the speed, increase the intensity. So it's really hard on your wrist, so it's really good for strengthening up your wrist, and it does help with your timing as well, so it's good little exercise for that. I think it's one of Jahangir Khan's favourite solo drills to do, so he was world number one for a while, so it must have been not a bad exercise to do, so give that one a go. So that's quite an advanced solo drill that you can practice, or even if you want to just give it a go for fun. So what we're working on is we're working on our hand-eye coordination, and we're making sure that our racket face is going through the ball and we're pushing through the ball. So we don't want to just be swinging at the ball like this in a semicircle. We've got to really make sure that that racket is going through the ball and we're pushing it to side. That was advanced. You can do it off the bounce to begin with, so off the bounce, just to get the idea of things, and then lift it up to the volley. So give that a go, it's pretty fun. So that's a few ideas on what you can do for solo practices. So if you've got any questions or anything like that, then comment below, but there's tons of other different routines, solo practices that you can do out there. So have a look around, see what you like doing, and remember to work on your weaknesses and your strengths, and don't forget to subscribe.